Mind. Yes, we are live. Hooray! Sorry,
Yay.
we had a few technical issues then, didn't we?
Yeah, the day turned out to be busier than we both expected.
I know, and also a busy day. Yeah, we've both been working away, and it was like, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" Busy day in the office, hey? But we're here now.
Absolutely.
So
You got to make that paper to go on all these trips, right?
Exactly. Well, thank you for joining me again. The Maldives chat we had 2 weeks ago was so popular. We've had so many views on it, and loads of people, well, including myself, went off and started Googling straight away. And I'm sure people will do the same after this one. So today we're going to talk about your trip to Jamaica, which was independently planned. And you did a self-drive, didn't you? So should we start off? I'll just share what we're going to talk about in this chat, and then people can know what to expect. So we're going to talk about the nuts and bolts, so how long you went for, and a rough guide to your travel budget, because I think that's the key that people want to know about. Then we're going to talk about how easy it is to drive around, because I think I've done a lot of road trips in different countries before, and I love it. And a lot of families love it because you've got that freedom to move at your own pace, see exactly what you want to do, and not have to necessarily get onto a coach with lots of other people. So it gives you that flexibility. So we want to know about the roads, how easy it was to drive, and also how you hired your car. Then we'll talk about where you visited, because you crammed in so much, pretty much the whole island.
And you know what? The thing is, Jamaica is such a vibe. It's so much. It could be laid back. It could be energetic. I mean, I am from the Caribbean originally. I'm from the island of Trinidad, and I just fell in love with Jamaica. I told my husband I regret I married a Trini. I should have married a Jamaican, because this island just. I mean, I lost my heart. My children lost their heart. I mean. So I was 40 last year, August, and we had all been through COVID and we hadn't been anywhere. And I was like, this is my milestone birthday. I need to do something. So I took a chance and I booked the flights. The flights for the four of us, because I used Avios and companion vouchers, came up to about £1,200.
Amazing.
And the thing is, I flew through Kingston. Now, I would always recommend people do not fly to Mobe, because then you're flying into a tourist trap. If you fly into Kingston, you have the option of driving through the Blue Mountains, and it is fantastic. People tend to see Jamaica as a land of beaches, but there are literally hundreds of waterfalls and mountains and springs, and it's just gorgeous. So we flew into Kingston. It was really easy to book and go there. Like we flew at British Airways, and we uploaded everything on the Verifly pass. We just literally walked up to the counter, walked onto the plane. My son was 2 years old, a proper lockdown baby. He hadn't seen a plane. He was like, oh my God, a plane. And it was such a fantastic experience. So you landed in Kingston. There wasn't any kind of big check or, like you would think, say hi.
Hi, you're coming to join us. You can join us.
You want to go to, you remember Jamaica? Yeah.
Loved it. I like the photos.
So you landed in Kingston. You queued up for a bit. Nobody was really wearing masks, in the airport. Some people were, some people weren't. Children weren't wearing, obviously. And from the counter, it took us about half an hour to go through customs, and then you collected your luggage and you went straight out to the car rental. So I have a lot of friends living in Jamaica, and they recommended island car rentals, and the service was spectacular. We had a Toyota Corolla for 2 weeks with insurance, costed £700, which was pretty amazing for me, when you compare that to some European prices.
Yeah. And, did you have car seats, kids' car seats?
Yes, I always travel with my car seats. So I had one of these trunky suitcases that could work for my daughter because she was 5 years old, and I had a big car seat for my son.
Oh,
because
yes, I had the trunky
there are no car seat laws in Jamaica. So if you don't have one, well, it's at your risk, but we always travel with ours.
I take the trunky, and also there's the Milo, which is my fold. What am I talking about? Milo. My fold, which is great for travel, isn't it? Because it's so small. If your child's a bit older, 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think the trunky gives her a bit of height on the seat, so I like that. We collected our car, and because all flights that come into Kingston come in a bit late, so we chose to overnight Kingston. Now, you hear a lot of stories about Kingston being unsafe. I would listen to that, and I would be very cautious. Like, I would try to get an airport, a reputable hotel close to the airport, which we did, because my friend recommended. I can't remember the name, but the hotels were like at minimum capacity. I don't even think we saw anybody for breakfast. And we got up really early, and because we were still on UK time, like 2 o'clock in the morning, I was hungry, looking for breakfast. So we had something really light to eat, and then like our adventure proper began. I mean, I cannot tell you, Susie, how amazing that drive through the Blue Mountains is. It is your absolute rustic Caribbean dream. You're driving. The roads are okay, but they are narrow, so you have to be a confident driver. But I'm talking about, you have these views, just mountains with flowers and banana trees and waterfalls just on the side of the road. I mean, really, really amazing. We literally spent the whole day on the road. We'd stop at these little random shops, get snacks for the kids. There were rastas on the side of the road selling soups, breadfruit. I mean, Jamaica is an absolute vegan's paradise because the population, most of them eat vegan food. And, all right, guys, please be quiet. Yeah. And, Aurora, take Aaron outside. Sorry, they're so robust.
That's okay. Carry on. This is a family show.
And like, there are stops like, we did not have, I mean, we really engaged with the locals in Jamaica. And, like, you stop, like, there are several known waterfalls that you're just stopping on the side of the road, or you have to, like, drive into these little side roads. And there are local boys there who, it's the age of Instagram. Oh, I'll take you and take your pic. And it's absolutely safe. We didn't feel scared or anything. And with a car in Jamaica, you just, like, we were driving to accommodation to the night, and we just saw some people playing music, and there was a little bit of crowd, and girl, I had the best joke of my life there. It was so amazing. And there were these, and the thing about, like, what I really loved about Jamaica, like, the children had no barriers. Like, we went there, and like everywhere we went, children played with my children. Like, there was no like hesitation. There was a set of triplets in the jerk center, and they were like, don't worry, auntie, we will look after them. And they let me eat.
Oh, that's so lovely. I love that when you go traveling, like meeting other kids, and your kids can go.
It was really, really lovely, really, really lovely. And and that was a theme that was just echoed throughout our entire Jamaica holiday. Like, I'll tell you, we went to Dunn's River Falls, and there was like a little water park there with like water slides and stuff. And my son was too young to go because he was only 2 years old. And this boy who was about 12 years old said, don't worry, auntie, I'll take him, and sat my son on top of him and just went down the slide. And things like this just blow your mind. You're like, look at these children, they're amazing.
Oh, so tell me about the roads and the infrastructure there. So you said that they're quite narrow in places, but actually,
so in the mountains, like when you have to go over Blue Mountains, it's not a road very well traveled, but it's one of the most beautiful drives. I mean, for me, it's on par with Road to Hannah. Road to Hannah has better infrastructure, but Jamaica just had more, I don't know, authenticity. It was just so there wasn't a bad view. They're
You want to
really,
go
really
back,
looking
don't
for that.
you?
Oh my God, I want to buy a house there. I love it so much. And yeah, well, I'm spending too much time telling you about because it just really etched on my mind. But you know, because it was like full on COVID time, there there would have been a lot more businesses open if we had gone another time. But like
Yeah.
there were guys selling coffee, there were guys selling soup, but I could imagine that there would have been a whole lot more if it wasn't during COVID time. So anyway, so we stayed our first accommodation, and I cannot recommend these people highly enough. The name of the accommodation was All Nations Guest House.
Is
It's
this in the Blue Mountains?
no. This is
The
out.
other
This is
side.
in Portland. This is in Port Antonio. So this
Okay.
is in, so Jamaicans talk a lot about their parishes. So this parish that we went to was Portland in Port Antonio.
And that's
Um,
East Jamaica. Anyone who's
That's
watching this
East
knows.
Jamaica. And for me, that was the sweetest part of Jamaica. If I ever go back, well, I will go back. That's where I'm basing myself because it's very undiscovered. Like only a certain type of tourists go there, I think. And because it's not really close to like Mobe and to Negril and to Ochi, um, as I say, only people who are really interested in learning about like local culture would really head down that side. But to me, it was fantastic. So All Nations Guest House, an Italian came to Jamaica yonks ago and bought 2 villas and just in the villas just set up these massive rooms and bathrooms, and there's like shared kitchen and there's a shared pool, and it was really affordable. For 4 nights I think we paid probably between £300 to £400, and with them you get this 20% discount on this like famous restaurant in that area called Bush Bar. Like it's owned by Island Jam Records or something. So like when Gwen Stefani and Beyonce and stuff go to Jamaica, they record there because it's a recording studio.
Oh, nice.
So they allowed me. I called ahead and I told them I was bringing my children. They had a party on, but they let me bring them. And yeah, it was an amazing dinner, fantastic sunset, and there's just so much to do there. Like you might have saw this bamboo rafting. So that's when the guys hold the big stick and you sit down on this raft and
Do the whole,
they
yeah.
pull you. And so we did this thing called Monkey Island, and my daughter was so excited because she expected to go to the island to see monkeys, but it's not. It's this like really lovely little sandbank with some trees, and they put swings everywhere in Jamaica, which is fantastic. It's like perfect Insta ops. Like it's amazing.
And good for the
And
kids.
oh yeah, well yeah, for the kids, right, Susie? Yeah, and the thing is, like, what I find with Jamaica is you have to agree your price ahead of time. So like, these guys have, they were out of work for quite some time. So I negotiated what I felt was a fair price. But you always have to remember it's a tourism market dominated by Americans, and Americans tip quite heavily. So I remember, like, I changed Jamaican dollars rather than US dollars because for me, I got better value for money with the Jamaican dollar. It
Yeah.
went further with the pound. And I saw the crushing disappointment when he saw the Jamaican dollars versus the US dollars. And like so most of the places you go, there's the guys that deliver the job, and then there's this middleman that handles the money. So I gave the man the money for what he quoted me, and he looked really crushingly disappointed that I didn't tip the guy. But I was like, I budgeted for this trip on what why are you expecting a 20% tip on that? And I don't know, that's something I think we all need to be very conscious about, that there's this expectation of a tip after. I tip when I get really good service, but I understand
Very
that
nice.
that's not necessarily the case. Like tipping is just a standard that you have to follow.
Oh, good tip. That is a good tip from you.
And
If we just rewind a little bit, because you went just for 2 weeks, and like we said, you flew into Kingston, drove across the Blue Mountains, and then you headed up anti-clockwise around the island, and you actually did a full loop, didn't you, in that 2 weeks?
absolutely. Absolutely. I did. The only places that I didn't go was the bit like the bottom southwest, which was residential, because at that time, remember, if you think about it, Jamaica was one of the first places in the world to put in COVID protocols to allow for tourism. So they had something called the Resilience Corridor, where only certain accommodation could open if they were COVID compliant, and that's where I traveled to. So I had to make sure all the accommodation I booked was on the government approved list. I'm sure all of that has changed now.
Yeah.
So I booked according to that. Like I remember having two screens open and like constantly checking when I like the price or something. That was the difference. Like a lot of Airbnb places were not on the approved list.
But probably they'll probably be on there now, or they will be.
Yeah. Things would have changed massively. So yeah, I mean, like to be honest, when we went there, so many people mistook us for locals and cheekily charged us local rates. Because like sometimes to go into some of the waterfalls, the tourist price is 25 US, whereas the local price is like, I don't know, 800 Jamaican, which is so they charge me local rates and I didn't complain sometimes, but I try to pay it most of the time. Yeah.
How much, do you mind me asking, how much roughly was your budget and you spent for that 2-week holiday? Because I think that gives everyone a good indication of what they need to plan.
So, okay. So to tell you, what blew my budget was I stupidly stayed in 2 all-inclusives. So my budget was for the entire trip was probably 4,200. If I didn't stay in the all-inclusives, my budget would have been, I would say, under 3,000, between 2,500 to 3,000, because Jamaica is really, really affordable. I cannot tell you how cheap and delicious the food is, because you're literally, the best food is not in any kind of restaurant in a hotel. The best food is street food. Oh my God, amazing street food, amazing jerk chicken and jerk pork and breadfruit. Like they do this thing where they roast the breadfruit, they scoop out the inside, they mix it up with different things and they stuff it back and they continue roasting it. Oh my God. Amazing.
Was that including your flights?
Yeah. I think so. I stayed in 2 all-inclusives in Hilton, Rose Hall, and in Rio, and they were quite expensive. And I totally established I'm not an all-inclusive person, because every day I think the children had a little bathe in the morning in the pool, and then we left and went out for the day. Yeah,
didn't get you value.
No, not my jam. I mean, I think the Hilton was exceptional in terms of like the food that they provided. There was just so much food and all of it was tasty and the staff was really helpful, but I felt really trapped in the all-inclusives. Like I feel like Jamaica has so much to offer, whether you just jump in your car and go to the beach, or there's just so much to do. Like we did horse riding with the kids, and these things are affordable. It was like 15 US to do horse riding.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, tell us about the trips that you did while you were there then, some of the activities.
So Jamaica has a really, really rich history, and there's a huge maroon population in Jamaica, which is people who came from Africa, meant to work as slaves. They escaped, and the nature of Jamaica is it's so mountainous that they created these communities, these vast communities in the mountains, and they are recognized like I don't want to say tribe, but they're recognized people in Jamaica. So when you have to enter their territory, you don't have, it's not a surcharge, it's considered like a donation to the community.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So you have to like give a donation to the community and you get a maroon guide. And I mean, Susie, these people have longevity. They live to like 90 and 100, and it's because they have such an organic diet. Like they only eat things they grow on the land or they catch in the land. They don't eat salt. They don't eat sugar. That's why they live forever.
Oh, wow.
one of the most memorable trips I did was we did a hike to a place called Nanny Falls. So Nanny was one of the most famous Maroons. She protected a lot of runaway slaves and nursed them back to health in this waterfall. So there's maybe some truth to it because Jamaica is so full of minerals. The waters are really rich in minerals, and we had to hike to this waterfall, and it was really in the bush, so we had to spray down the children with mosquito repellent, and we had a guide and he took us there, and he had his machete and his dog, and it was really pleasant, just learning about the culture. And you had to go down some steps, let me tell you.
How many?
I would say about 100 steps with no railings. But
Oh,
the guide took down my children like
oh,
individually,
oh,
and
did
my
they enjoy
husband.
it?
Oh my God, yeah. They proper went in the water, and it was the waterfall was at mid flow. So what it is, it's like two massive rocks with just like a sliver in between, and you go in between these rocks to this, oh my God, amazing waterfall, Nanny Falls, and then the history behind it. So we met some local people coming after who were like taking their boxes of food up there. We felt so sorry for them because it's quite a little trek, but really exciting. And the children really enjoyed it because I mean they're not gonna get that in London, it's so different. So that's one waterfall. Then there's a lot of like established so the government tends to own and manage a lot of the waterfalls in Jamaica. There's parking, there's fantastic um, change facilities, like at a really, really high level, really, really high level. And our car was safe all the time. We just had everything in the trunk, a couple changes of clothes for the children, some snacks, water, and you just paid your entrance fee and you went in. And because it was COVID, there was nobody. My pictures are just me and my family. It was awesome.
Oh, incredible. When did you
Yeah.
say? October.
No, no,
October.
no, in August, and
August.
I think August would have traditionally been probably high season because of the holidays and stuff, but it wasn't. So yeah, and then we there was this really beautiful little beach that we went to. So unlike Trinidad, in Trinidad all the beaches are free to the public, regardless if it's a hotel or not. But in Jamaica, the beaches are privatized, and
Oh,
you
okay.
find very few local beaches. So we visited one local beach, and like literally as soon as you pull into the beach, like throngs of people surround you and like, yeah, we asked for a contribution to the local beach, which you give because it's one of the few beaches that local Jamaicans have to access. And yeah, the beaches are fantastic, soft, white, sandy beaches, clear blue water, a little wave, because who doesn't like a little wave action? And I took these little floats for my kids, so they were very comfortable in the water. I mean, like, you do pool, but who would do pool if there's a beach there, right?
Oh no, it looked beautiful from your photos. So which was your favorite local beach then? Was there one that stood out that you would recommend?
Yeah, for me, it was my absolute favorite local beach in Jamaica was Frenchman's Cove. So what it is, it's again a privatized facility. We had to pay, I can't remember if it was 10 US or 12 US for use of all the facilities during the day. And it's quite like, it's almost like a lovely park. So it's really landscape, really beautiful, lots of ginger lilies and tropical flowers and plants. And there's parking, and you're sure that your cars and everything are safe. And there is a restaurant on site, and there's a beautiful river, lots of swings leading into the beach. And it's
Lovely.
cove because the land kind of curls around, and there's just this little opening for where the water comes in. Really fantastic.
Can
Really,
I
really fantastic.
Can I ask you about the food? Because my ex took Alf over a couple of years ago. They did a self-drive. It was just before COVID hit, actually. And some of the places they stayed, which were real local guest houses, if they didn't have any places nearby, they would always do like a set meal. Is that quite standard over there to have like a menu board and they do 3
Yes,
dishes? Yeah.
yes. Even like the hotel, the guest house that we were staying at, they offered a menu every day. So to you could choose to take what they had, or but to be honest with you, there are so many. I mean, they're overrun with local places to eat. And unless you're a person that really, you want to sit down and have a relaxing dinner, I would tell you go out, man. You
And
know,
it's cheaper to go to the street food and have all those sort of local dishes. And the atmosphere is better, isn't it? It's much more
well,
fun.
absolutely. There's always music, and the thing about like Caribbean time is like, you're not gonna show up somewhere and get something immediately. No, 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 no. You're gonna show up, you have to immerse yourself in the little waiting atmosphere.
Take snacks for the kids.
Absolutely enjoy the waiting, and yeah, as I said, a vegan's paradise. I'm not vegan. I totally ate every meat going, and it was fantastic. My only regret is that I didn't try some of the maroon food because we didn't have the time to do that. But yeah, so after we left Portland, I felt like Portland for me was just magic. And then I entered like proper tourist city, because what we did after Portland, we went to the furthest point, which was Negril, and that was about 5 hours driving. So we got the kids up really early and we left the guest house at 6 in the morning. So we got to Negril at 11 in the afternoon, and Susie, the roads were clear. It was not through the mountains, so it was proper highway and smooth, wide roads.
Oh, amazing.
So easy to drive, easy to navigate. And you could make it really interesting and stop. Like you could go to Ian Fleming's villa. There's lots of different things that you could stop and do along the road. Like there's people selling arts and crafts, there's people selling food, fruits, lots of fruits. Um, so we got to Negril and the vibe was just completely different to Portland. You knew that you were in tourist territory because
Right. Okay.
everything was now set up for tourists. When you went to the supermarket, it was imported thing. You were getting Pepperidge Farm cookies instead of local Jamaican cookies. The ice creams were imported. It was just like a complete change of everything. And of course, the prices were more expensive. So
accommodation was more expensive, I presume, as well, was it?
So when we got to Negril, because I wanted to stay on the 7 Mile beach, I actually went into a proper hotel. So I stayed in something called Cocola Palm, which was really, really child friendly. But there are little things that they didn't tell you. So they said breakfast was included, but that was a basic breakfast. That was like, bread and jam. And, I'm in Jamaica. I want a Jamaican breakfast. I want Blue Mountain coffee. I want ackee and saltfish. I want dumpling, This is what I wanted in when I was the Blue Mountain coffee. Oh my God. My husband was like, "You're
I love
drinking
coffee.
It's so awesome, girl. It's so awesome."
I'm a coffee addict, so I would love that. I normally have about 6 cups of coffee in the morning. Which is,
Yeah, and yeah, the coffee there it's really, and we went to like, and the thing about it is I don't know if it was the time that we went or whatever, but they just let children in everywhere. So I was able to go to this famous, I don't know if you know Rick's Cafe, which is like where the cliff jumpers. It's this really famous cafe. They have live music. It's like real vibes. It's a real tourist hub. Every single bus that took you on day tours would end up at Rick's Cafe. So they had like these cliff divers, they had live music, everybody was dancing. We didn't stay really long there because I just felt, we were still in COVID times. There was just so many people there and I didn't feel like great with the kids. So we just went to this local little restaurant and had food, and it was nice. I mean, the grill was really chilled. We did a lot of day trips. There were like other falls there. We did this thing called Pelican Bar, which is this, I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's this bar in the middle of the ocean. So you have to get a boat. Yeah, you should check it out. It's called Floyd's Pelican Bar. So
Yeah.
I don't know, I met somebody randomly and they gave me the number of this man who arranged boat tours. And I just called him and we got like a pirogue and it didn't cost much. It cost like 10 US, but when you went there, what it is, it's just a bar built on stilts in the middle of the ocean. And
Oh,
as soon as
amazing.
yeah, and as soon as you reach there, people come and like, do you want lobster? Do you want lobster? It's like, everybody's obsessed with lobster. I'm not. I prefer conch or shrimp.
Oh,
And
interesting. I think I'd go
so
lobster.
really?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my gosh.
I do like shrimp, but no, I quite like a lobster. Yeah, nice.
Well, so lots of people were there just vibing and chilling and like if you stayed in Sandals, they had their catamaran take you there and
I will
you know,
be staying in
darling, you
Sandals.
know.
I'll be going on the local boat. So, to summarize, I think you actually said that you booked all of your trips, well, when you were there, didn't you? You booked them on the day. So, I mean, I
Yeah,
guess it was
all
right.
now, I don't know if that will still be relevant when you are out of COVID and there's more tourists around, but we literally booked everything on the day, on the spot. Very important. Agree a price before, clarify if it's in Jamaican dollars or US dollars,
Good tip.
tipping is expected. And the thing about it is information, a lot of information is available online. So you can go to Rick's Cafe, you can see the menu, you can go to the Bush Bar, you can see the menu. So I mean, Jamaica, especially on the western coast, is tried and tested in terms of tourism. So you
Yeah.
can look on there and see what's on, see and budget accordingly. I mean, petrol was not expensive. For us, food eaten locally was really cheap. I bought local snacks for my kids. They enjoyed it. Water, we drank tap water in Jamaica.
Oh, great.
I'm not a big fan of bottled water. So yeah, I'm still living.
So for people who want to do something more authentic, you recommend going into Kingston and then exploring around Portland, because that's where you feel like it's a little bit more off the tourist trail and
Absolutely.
it's more authentic experience with the local food and less tourists, I guess.
I
Typical.
think Negril and Montego Bay, if I had to leave out two places in Jamaica, I'd leave out those two. I'd say Ocho Rios is really nice. It's
Hmm.
not as authentic as Portland, but it is nice because there's something there called Blue Hole, which is like you can now there are established tour companies in Jamaica. I didn't support any of them. I drove up to the local place, paid the local guys, and I paid two local guys, I mean, 20 US. They carried my children through the entire hike. I mean, listen to me. I would have paid them 50. Seriously, Susie. Because the thing is, you're literally hiking up roots of trees and this trail because waterfalls are on elevated ground, right? So you're starting in the bottom where there are pools and you're walking up and you're going through these trees and they're giving you this is cinnamon bark, break it, this is avocados. I grew
Oh,
up in the Caribbean, so I know all this, but to somebody who is from, maybe Sutton, this is like brand new to them. So they would love that. And then there was a point they didn't tell you had to actually cross the waterfall pool, climb up on rocks, right?
whoa.
And
Okay.
then, and then jump off this height. I did not jump off the height. My husband did it.
Really? How high was
And
it?
like, huh? It
How
was
high was it?
it was pretty high. I mean, like I don't know how to explain how high it was to you. Like maybe a second story. I don't.
You would not catch me doing that.
No, no, I went to the bottom, like the absolute lowest rock that I could go to, and I jumped from there. And
That's what
we
I do.
just tossed the children in. Yeah,
I would definitely not do that. The older I get, the more scared I am of
I
like,
know. And the
I don't
older
know.
you get, the
Yeah.
weaker your knees get, right?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know what's happening to me. I'm becoming very boring in my old age.
We didn't need any kind of we had yellow fever shots before. I think I had to pay for it for my daughter, not because of Jamaica, but because we regularly visit tropical countries so much, it's just good for them to have it. So you used to get it free on the NHS, but now you have to pay for it in a travel clinic. So factor that cost in. I think yellow fever vaccines are between 60 to 80 pounds.
Oh, okay.
And
That's really
yeah,
good advice.
yeah. And everything is available. There's so many local pharmacies. There's so many, like, I walked with so many things because when you have kids, your medicine bag is like half your suitcase, right? But everything was available there.
Oh, that's
Everything.
really good to know. That's the sort of
Yeah.
thing that when a family goes over there, they that's one of the questions that comes up, isn't it? Is safety and medical supplies, just so that people have that
Sunblock
peace
was a
of
little
mind.
expensive, so I would say bring your sunblock from home, like wherever you're coming from. Sunblock was a little expensive because I guess it's in such high demand. We didn't do any snorkeling in Jamaica because
Actually,
we
yes.
didn't.
Someone asked that question, where was the best place to go snorkeling? So you didn't do it, but were there areas that they recommended, or was there not much to
No, no,
say?
no. There were recommended areas, but we had nobody to look after the kids, so we didn't want
Got
to
you.
like. Yeah, we did. So, I mean, do you know there's a resort in Jamaica called Franklin Resort? As part of booking a room, you actually get a babysitter attached, a nanny attached to that booking. So for people who really want, like, I mean, I didn't stay with them, but when I saw the concept, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing.
What,
Yeah.
everybody that stays there gets a babysitter with the room?
Everybody who stays in that resort, they get a nanny to look after their children during the duration of the stay. It's called the Franklin Resort. Yeah,
I've
I
never
remember.
heard of that before.
Yeah, I know, it's a fantastic concept, isn't it?
Wow. I mean, if you want to go off and do something more adventurous, then that is pretty amazing. I'm sure some people will be Googling that to have a look, because you get the best
Yeah.
of both worlds, can't you? Even if you only stay there for a few nights.
Yeah, no. I
Mm.
mean, it's not the most expensive. I think I would consider it mid-range, but for like, people like me and my husband, like our children are still really young and we have them 24/7. So it's either we could do things with them or we just can't do those other things.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, when I was traveling with my son when he was a baby, we just didn't do much. There were only certain things you could. Well, like, oh, I suppose actually, no, we did take him snorkeling when he was fairly young with a little life jacket. But yeah, anyway, I think we need to wrap this up now. We've been chatting for over half an hour. So, in summary, you highly recommend it. Great for the budget, easy to get around, loads of things to
Absolutely.
do, all sorts of things. From, I know that my son, when he went, he did quite a lot of paddle boarding and sort of things on the water as well. But then you've got the treks, the waterfalls, driving through the Blue Mountains. So yeah, I mean, it sounds absolutely perfect, I have to say.
For me, it's like, it's like the most authentic Caribbean experience you could have. And I'm from a Caribbean island, like Jamaica is magic. It's vibes. It's real vibes. I love it.
And the
I love
music,
it.
I love too. And someone said, thank you so much. I know, thank you so much, Natty. You're brilliant at this, I have to say. You are just, I mean, you have such a lot of knowledge, and I've learned something as well. And I'm really interested to have a look at that. Where did you say it? Nanny Falls, wasn't it?
Yes, Nanny
Yeah.
Falls. I mean, what I can do, I can write down all the falls that we went to and send you a list so you can share it with everybody because I, my husband and I, we love waterfalls and anywhere we choose holidays based on waterfalls basically. And I know there are lots of other people who out there who are like that, and that's why Jamaica is so special. I mean, the clarity of the water in these falls, it's like the bluest green ever. It's gorgeous.
Natty,
Really, really gorgeous.
I'll let you have a few weeks off, but do you want to come back and talk about the Azores?
Absolutely, absolutely. How many islands? I think we did 5 of the 7 islands in the Azores. So yeah, happy to talk about it.
I'm lining you up already. Thank you so much. You're brilliant.
No, and just to say, Susie, I mean, like, I absolutely love this community of people that you have here. Like, I thank everybody, like, when I put up posts who engage with it, because I think it's such a wealth of knowledge, like, because traveling with your children is it's a privilege to do.
Yeah, thank you.
I,
Yes,
I
I'm
wish I
grateful
had the
as well. It's
courage.
so lovely.
I wish I had
Pardon?
the courage to abandon my day job and leave my mortgage and just travel all the time. So I salute and I admire all the people who do it. Please keep posting. I love watching it.
And please keep coming back because we love listening to you. Well, have a lovely evening and
You
catch
too.
you soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.